everyone, I'm going to present some reviewing and conceptual work I did with Jason Matthiopoulos. Environmental predictability is acknowledged as a critical driver of animal movement, but a conceptual framework is lacking to efficiently study this interface. Moreover, the feedbacks of animal movement on environmental predictability are still very little investigated. We extended Colwell's typology of predictability. He defined two orthogonal axes of predictability. Constancy is the converse of variability, while contingency represents the degree to which the variable is determined in the statistical sense by itself or by another variable. So, for example, the contingency on time increases when the regularity of the fluctuations increases. Colwell initially defined these two axes for temporal variables. We extended his framework by considering the spatial dimension and by defining other types of contingency. We also proposed several methodologies to quantify these two axes. You can see in our papers details of this. Environmental predictability is a selective pressure on movement behavior and its associated cognition. We expect that very high and very low levels of predictability select for ingrained behavior, while intermediate levels of predictability select for high levels of cognition, such as memory and social information use. These different types and degrees of environmental predictability associated with different cognitive abilities and behavioral strategies gave rise to different movement patterns. For example, nomadism can emerge in very unpredictable environments, while seasonality can lead to migration. A persistent resource, such as a waterhole, can lead to the emergence of recursions, the repeated visits of the location by animals that have memory. And when resources in a patch renew at a predictable rate, animals can time their recursions to match the replenishment timing. While many studies focus on the effects of environmental predictability on movement patterns, very few have focused so far on the feedbacks of animal movement on environmental predictability. However, the available knowledge suggests that animals can increase environmental predictability in many ways. For example, animals displaying routine movement in response to high levels of environmental predictability can increase it even further by dispersing seeds or by creating trails by their repeated trampling of the soil. Grazers can also create high productivity meadows by their repeated use of the same areas. In addition, the seasonal migration of salmon can generate periodic fluxes of nutrients for bear, for example. These examples raise the question of the possible existence of eco-evolutionary feedback loops that are still to be investigated. To move forward our knowledge of the environmental predictability animal movement interface, we need to develop the concurrent analysis of detailed environmental and movement data and experimental, empirical, and theoretical studies. We also suggest that our framework could help developing the study of the impacts of human activities on environmental predictability and their consequences for animal movement. For example, fishery discards increase environmental predictability and can constitute an ecological trap, while the spatially uneven rate of global warming can reduce the predictability of the environment for migrant species, and light pollution disturbs the circadian rhythm that governs many species' movements. Here are the references for Colwell's paper and our paper if you want more details about the ideas I exposed here. I also want to thank my funders, the Royal Society and the European Union, and the University of Glasgow for hosting me. Thank you.